Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
It's never too early to set expectations and goals for your child's education. The UA College Savings Plan provides opportunities that can help you reach your educational savings goals. Save in Alaska. Study anywhere. There is more information available by calling 1-888, the number 4, and then Alaska. This message sponsored by the UA College Savings Plan.
The National Weather Service.
Hello, welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Kimberley Hoeppner, and today is November 19th, 2015. Remember, when we're not on air, you can always get our data by going into www.arh.noaa.gov, or you can always call our information line at 1-800-472-0391. And as always, if you go to our webpage, please feel free to look up our social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So going on to the topics of the day, we do have some warnings out across the state, but let's jump into what's bringing these winter weather conditions across the west and the south central areas. Now, this low pressure system just to the north of Unalaska, Dutch Harbor Island, we have some cold air on the backside of this system, and you can see this spin with this warm air from the jet stream heading up from the North Pacific on over towards the southeast. Putting that into motion one more time, you can see that spin on the low pressure system as it lifts to the north. Now, we already have seen some snow across the western areas of the state. They've seen between 2 to 5 inches of snow, and this front is starting to push inland during the evening hours. So here's this moisture plume from Kodiak Island up towards the Kenai, wrapping around back towards the Seward Peninsula and eastern Bering. So putting this into motion one more time, you can see here's the ridging off to the east, bringing a little bit drier conditions towards the Dixon entrance, but they do have some shower activity that's continuing. Rain mainly across the offshore locations and snow across the inner channels, and we have also ridging just moving and shifting off to the east here. So here's that moisture plume kind of working on its way over to the east, and the other plume of moisture across the southeast and the panhandle. Now here's what's going on today. The low pressure system is sitting near Nunivak Island at 972 millibars. An occluded front stretches from the Kenai Peninsula back towards the northern Bering Strait, where we're seeing the gustiest winds from the east direction along this tight pressure gradient and along the axis of the trough that pushed in yesterday. Now we have some snow and blowing snow conditions across the area, many winter advisories across south central, and winter storm warnings from the Susitna Valley back towards the west coast, with a blizzard warning out for the Bering Strait and St. Lawrence Island continuing. These watches, warnings, advisories, they're all out, and they're not going to expire until we get through the day on Friday. We also have a mix of rain and snow across the southwest coast, Bristol Bay, Kuskokwim Delta, and a mix of rain and snow mainly across the Gulf. Just a small window, mainly rain moving into the Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula. Like I said, light snow showers across the southeast. They already saw 2 to 5 inches across their area, with a change of weather conditions on the way. Now across the western areas of the Bering, just note how the cold air just kind of creeps around, brings some snow showers, and then you get to about the central Bering where it changes over to light rain just south of this low pressure system. And here's the next system to keep an eye on, as this is a warm front that's racing up from the North Pacific, and that's coming in right behind this occluded front. Now as we head in through tonight, this front is going to push towards the east, bring some very gusty conditions across south central area and the southwest. And then we also have a chance for isolated thunderstorms across Bristol Bay, as there's a little bit of convective activity on the backside of this low pressure system. Now along the coastal areas, we're expecting gusts for the west coast between 30 to 50 miles per hour, with gusts just inland between 15 to 20 miles per hour. Strongest gusts, however, will remain across the Bering Strait, gusting between 30 to 60 miles per hour. And then we'll see the reduced visibilities all across the west and northern Bering Strait areas down to 1/2 mile and to near zero at times with the heavier showers. Now across the rest of South Central, the Anchorage Bowl, the northern Kenai, and even across the Copper River, everywhere along the Gulf, we'll see some snow accumulations tonight. This system is going to be fast moving, so we're only expecting on average about 1 to 2 inches. However, the area for Susitna is under a winter storm warning for 9 to 15 inches in the overnight hours, with possible higher amounts, especially as we head through the day on Friday as we continue to get the moisture plume and additional snow accumulations. So Susitna Valley in the south central area is going to be the hardest hit as we head through tonight. Elsewhere, expect lighter accumulations between 1 to 2 inches. Now, as we head into your day on Friday, this system will be pulling to the north, keeping the central areas of the state and the west in the snow showers, and then the low pressure system will move up from the Pacific, becoming a 988 millibar low. Not a very strong low, however, it is coming up in an area that has a lot of moisture already across the area, so we will see snow accumulations between, on average, 4 to 6 inches across the south central area. There's going to be possibly mixing of rain and snow across Valdez as this warm front pulls towards the northeastern Gulf. So at some point, Cordova should change over to rain. And then by Friday night, they can expect heavy rain at times from Cordova east over towards the southeast, the Panhandle. So rain will be heavy at times in these areas, with the southeast and Panhandle seeing additional 1 to 1/2 inches of rain on top of the snow that they have already received this week. So very slick conditions will be possible. You know, they want to make sure that you're making the drains clear so the water can clear the streets, because they are going to be receiving rain through Saturday. So you're going to want to watch for any clogging that you might have in the street areas and see if you can make sure all that rain can drain off. And then the cold air will be coming in on the backside of this system and bring another rain and snow mix across the Alaska Peninsula. Moving up across the west coast, here's this long duration of snowfall that we're expecting as one low pressure sits and kind of becomes a little bit more stationary as the upper level system weakens, and we do have snow that'll be propagating towards the northeastern areas of the Brooks Range. So everywhere is going to see some rain or snow and snow showers coming back in with a very cold air mass on by Friday afternoon coming through towards the eastern Aleutians. Now as we head to your day on Saturday, we're going to be in a break across much of the Bering locations, including the Alaska Peninsula, with this weak wave in the upper levels bringing a very weak surface low, mainly just light snow and shower activity. And then the next low pressure system to watch will be entering the western Aleutians at that time. Now for the south central areas, they'll see some snow through the Friday night time period. And once again, south central, including the Copper River Basin, the northern Kenai, Anchorage, and Susitna will receive possibly heavier amounts on Saturday night, as we already have a saturated air mass across the area. Additional lift will bring this longer duration of snow. And also for areas across the west and central areas of the state, low pressure system will continue to spin through your day on Friday. So be prepared for additional snow continuing through your Saturday. Now across the northeastern areas of the Gulf, including Cordova on over towards the southeast, expect additional rainfall through your Saturday to bring another round of heavy rain, with rain totals between 1 to 1.5 inches again on your Saturday. So reduced visibilities across the state is going to be a problem. Traveling conditions will be slick. So be prepared for wintry conditions, which is quite typical for Alaska. And we stay in this active pattern through the end of the week. Now, looking at your temperatures, we didn't see very warm temperatures across the southeast today. They were staying right in that 30 to 34 degree range, but the warmer temperatures did creep up through the western areas of the Gulf, temperatures in the 40s up towards the Kenai, and then a very quick temperature change, dropping down to 10 degrees near the Anchorage area, with single digits and just below zero across the central interior. Heading up towards the northern areas of the state, they have stayed in a cold pattern with temperatures minus 23 to minus 25 from the eastern areas of the Brooks Range back through the northwest coast. Now towards the Seward Peninsula, another rise in temperatures quickly up to 20 degrees, and then towards the southwest, they were hovering just above freezing during the afternoon hours, with rain coming into the western coast there. The warmest temperatures were spread all across the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians, around 43 to 45 degrees, with here's the colder temperatures on the backside near 33 degrees out towards Shemya. Looking at your temperatures for tonight, temperatures will stay in the mid-30s across the Alaska Peninsula, cooler north and west at 31 degrees for the Pribilof Islands and Shemya. The southwestern areas will be right around freezing, so in the upper 20s to near 30, and then we'll see a rise in temperatures across the Gulf coastal locations, Kenai and Kodiak, all in the mid-20s to the mid-30s. So temperatures will be warming in this region overnight. A little bit slower trend here across the central interior, but we will see temperatures that are less cold than the previous night, in the single digits to just below zero. It's not until you get up to the Brooks Range and to the northwest where you see the coldest temperatures to minus 10 to minus 20. Now across the southeast, temperatures are going to hover in the mid-30s. As we head into your day tomorrow, here's those warm temperatures expected across the southern areas of the state in the mid-20s to mid-30s, with approaching 40 from the Kenai Peninsula and the western areas of the Gulf. Warmer temperatures also on the way for the southeast, with temperatures climbing back into the 40s, and across the northern areas of the state finally approaching the 0 degree mark. Across the Seward Peninsula, a range from the low to mid-teens, with the warmest temperatures noted across the Alaska Peninsula, again, which will be in the low to mid-40s. Across the Aleutians, we'll see temperatures ranging in the mid to upper 30s. Looking at your flying conditions tomorrow across the state, it's not going to be a good flying day because we're going to see widespread IFR conditions all across the northwest and southern areas of the state. So be on the lookout for that, widespread MVFR conditions around the low pressure system out in the Bering, with IFR conditions extending all the way down towards the southeast as the upper low pressure systems move across, with the disturbances bringing in a mix of the rain and snow as we head into your day tomorrow. So Anahtuvik Pass will be IFR, as well as Adigan Pass, and then we'll see Lake Clark and Merrill Pass will be IFR at those locations. Rainy also IFR. Looking at Rainy Pass will be IFR, and Isabel will be MVFR conditions. Mentasta, MVFR, South Central, pretty much in all the IFR or MVFR conditions as we see at Tenita Pass. And then Portage will see IFR conditions, possibly with improvement to MVFR across the western areas. And then Chilkoot and White Pass will be IFR for tomorrow. Looking at your freezing level, this is starting to climb a little bit further north across the Panhandle and towards the Bering Strait, but then drops a little bit further as you head out towards the west near Shemya. So your 2,000-foot level is going to be skirting the Aleutian chain towards the Alaska Peninsula and northern Gulf, and then climbing quickest to 8,000 feet just to the south of the Aleutian chain. Looking at the next screen, we have your icing. The main concerns are going to be across the western areas of the state, with widespread to moderate conditions where the low pressure system is moving those fronts in. So look for the conditions to the south below 12,000 and then below 7,000 across the interior areas, with the north coast seeing icing below 5,000 feet. Now the jet stream for tomorrow is a westerly flow across the Aleutians. The strongest jet here just to the south of the eastern Aleutians, taking a quick turn around the ridging over the state, ushering 140 knot jet, bringing that warm moisture inland. Now another turn across the southeast, becoming northwest at 95 knots. Looking at your 9,000-foot winds, we still have a very strong mid and low level circulation with 70 to 85 knots across the Alaska Peninsula. Still a strong flow across the Kenai and inland between 30 to 35 knots all out of the southwest. Change of direction around the low pressure center to the north and a little bit of a stream of 35 to 40 knots towards the southeast. All across the Bering, we'll see a westerly flow between 15 to 40 knots. The strongest winds will be just off the Aleutian Islands and to the north. Very identical, as this is a stack system, so at 3,000 feet, we'll see the strongest winds over the Alaska Peninsula towards Kodiak Island with gusts between 55 to 65 knots, the strongest winds just south of the Gulf areas, and then we'll see a southwesterly flow across much of the state, except the change of direction to the north. The southeast will have a fairly strong flow between 30 to 45 knots at 3,000 feet. Looking at your turbulence for tomorrow, the main concern, again, is going to be across the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island, below 6,000 to 8,000 feet across the eastern areas of the Bering, and then turbulence stretching all the way into the southeast and across much of the state. So in just a moment, we're going to be back to recap your forecast and go over the marine forecast for your area.
The Secret Lives of Stars.
Hey there, stargazers. I'm Dean Regas, astronomer from the Cincinnati Observatory.
And I'm James Albury, director of the Kika Silva Plot Planetarium in Gainesville, Florida. And we're here to help you find your way around the sky.
Stars are not always what they seem. Most stars in the sky are really 2, 3, or more stars orbiting each other. Many stars wildly fluctuate in brightness. They're all different colors and temperatures. Some are newly born and others are nearing their dramatic demise.
This week, we're going to look at 3 stars in the fall sky with hidden secrets. The first star is really 2 beautifully colored stars visible in a small telescope.
The second will make your head spin.
And the third is a lonely star with a funny name that gave astronomers a big planetary surprise. As our telescopes get better and better, we're uncovering the mysterious nature of stars trillions of miles away.
Let us introduce you to the stars Albireo, Altair, and Fomalhaut.
Okay, we have our skies set to 10 p.m. this month looking west. The most prominent feature is the summer triangle. Look for 3 really bright stars in the sky and you found it.
The 3 stars are called Vega, Altair, and Deneb.
Now Deneb is supposed to be the bright tail of the constellation Cygnus the Swan, but we're going to zoom in on the fainter head star visible within the summer triangle.
This is the star called Albireo, and it's one of my favorite stars to look at with a small telescope. When you look closer at Albireo, you find it's really a double star, 2 stars orbiting each other. The bigger one is orange in color, and the smaller one is brilliant blue.
Go Gators!
The contrasting colors make a cool and hot sight to see because this tells us their contrasting temperatures. The bluer, the hotter. The oranger, the cooler. They're like 2 beautiful jewels in the night sky.
Now let's get back to the star Altair and its hidden secret. Altair looks like any ordinary bright white star, but it is one of the closest stars to us at only 17 light years away.
And because it's relatively close, astronomers could uncover Altair's secret. Its mind-boggling rotational rate.
Meaning it spins really fast.
Our sun spins as well. The sun rotates about 2 kilometers per second at its equator, so it takes about 26 days for the sun to spin once. Now, let's compare our sun to Altair. Altair is almost twice as big as the sun and shines 11 times brighter. But hold on to your seats. This star spins super fast. At the equator, Altair rotates at about 286 kilometers per second. That means that the entire star spins once every 9 hours.
This unbelievable rotational velocity has actually affected the shape of this star. Instead of a sphere, Altair is squished at the poles and bulges at the equator. The entire mass of the star has shifted and has left Altair looking like a rapidly spinning M&M.
Next, let's look south at 10 p.m. where you'll see only 1 bright star. This is Fomalhaut, the brightest star in the constellation of Piscis Australis, or the Southern Fish.
With a little imagination, you can make out the shape of a goldfish in these stars with Fomalhaut as one beady eye. Cute.
Fomalhaut is a blue-white star 25 light-years away, making it another close target to observe with the best telescopes. In 2004, astronomers detected a dust ring around Fomalhaut.
We call it a protoplanetary disk.
Or just a big ring of stuff, and everyone got excited. This was the kind of stuff that might harbor a planet or even a whole solar system.
And then in 2008, astronomers caught the first visible light image of a planet orbiting around another star, orbiting around Fomalhaut. You have to really squint, but there it is. So check out Fomalhaut tonight, the lone star in the south.
That's not so lonely after all.
Find rapidly rotating Altair in the western sky on the left side of the summer triangle.
And don't forget to train your telescopes on Albireo to discover its second sun. When you look at the stars above, who knows what other hidden secrets you'll discover when you
Keep looking up.
Welcome back to the show, and let's now look down towards the Cook Inlet, where we can see some ice has moved into both of the arms. And also, if you look very closely, we do have some ice just starting to form across the basin of the rivers here. Now, looking across the west coast, we do have the ice edge that wraps around all the way towards the Bristol Bay area. We just have some ice development from Dillingham on over towards the King Salmon area. So be on the lookout for the ice growth as we head into winter. However, the warmer conditions have prevented any further ice growth as we headed into the afternoon hours. So looking at the map, we are going to move over to the southeast. However, I just have the Saturday map, so I just want to note tomorrow there'll be in between systems. The most impactful weather will be occurring on Saturday with the flow picking back up out of the west direction. Friday will primarily be out of the south direction to southwest. So on Saturday, we'll see gales going back up across the entire area and across the northern Lynn Canal and the southern Lynn Canal out of the south direction across the inner channels, becoming more southeasterly towards the Dixon entrance. Small craft advisory there. Moving into the western areas of the Gulf, a strong southwesterly flow as well on Friday, with the south flow up towards Prince William Sound, all small craft between 30 to 35 knots until you get towards Kodiak Island, stronger winds, gales. Across the Cook Inlet, expect a south to southwesterly flow on your Friday towards the Shelikof Strait even, all small craft 25 knots. And then seas on this day will be 6 to 10 feet across the Prince William Sound and the Cook Inlet. Higher seas from 8 feet across the Barren Islands towards the eastern areas of the Barrens will be up to 15 feet. The western Gulf all seeing between 16 to 20 feet. Now the Shelikof Strait will be around 9 feet for your Friday, and as we head into your Saturday, westerly flow develops across the entire area with storm force winds across much of the Gulf locations out of the west, like I said, and seas on this day will go up much higher between 20 to 28 feet. Highest seas to the north there across the Cook Inlet, also seas between 14 to 18 feet, with the lowest seas to the north at 6 feet. Shelikof Strait around 10 feet, and Prince William Sound will be around 6 feet. Looking at your Alaska Peninsula for your Friday, all out of the west direction, between 25 to 30 knots across the Bering side, 45 knots on the Pacific side, and then looking at seas between 11 to 14 feet, Bering side, higher seas 20 to 22 feet on the Pacific side. On your Saturday, expect a westerly direction and small craft advisor. It's set near Kodiak again at 35 knots, and seas will be between 10 to 12 feet Bering side and 15 to 18 feet on the Pacific side. Your Aleutian forecast for tomorrow, mainly small craft across the central areas out of the west to northwesterly flow, lighter wind speeds out towards Shimia, and then gales towards the Dutch Harbor area at 35 knots on the Bering side, and then seas on this day will be between 10 to 15 feet on the Bering side, and then along the Pacific side between 15 to 20 feet. On your Saturday, expect a directional shift out of the south to west, southwesterly direction to west across the entire area. Small crafts mainly between 20 to 30 knots. The seas on this day will be 8 to 10 feet across the Bering side and 10 to 12 feet across the Pacific side, with slightly higher seas just south of the Dutch Harbor Island area at 18 feet. The west coast will see a strong northerly flow, 25 to 20 knots, the strongest across the northern Bering. And then we'll also see freezing spray to the north with a flow between 20 to 30 knots as you head further south. Seas will be between 10 to 12 feet. And then as we head into your Saturday, a little bit more of a westerly direction as you drop towards the south with the flow still remaining between 25 and 30 knots, a little bit stronger on Saturday. Freezing spray just to the north. Seas will be between 9 and 12 feet on this day as well. Now the marine forecast for the northern coast and northwestern coast will be an east to northeasterly flow with gales across the Kotzebue Sound and Chukchi Sea coast. We'll see seas around 3-4 feet and then going up to 10 feet for the Kotzebue Sound. Now on Saturday we'll see more of an easterly direction across the northern areas and becoming more north-northeast, and again we'll see gales towards the Kotzebue Sound with seas between 7 to 10 feet and seas around 3 feet across the northwest coast. Just to recap your forecast, expect blizzard warnings across the northern Bering and the west coast. We'll see heavy amounts of precipitation during the overnight hours, and moving into south central tonight. South central mainly see 1 to 2 inches, while the west coast sees 4 to 10 inches of snow. Susitna Valley and Valdez locations will see tonight between 12 to 20 inches accumulate, with a possible mixing of rain towards Cordova for your Friday. Rain moving into the southeast, bringing higher accumulations between 1 to 1.5 inches, and snow continuing through the day Friday, and then tapering off for the south central area on Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.